Yes, and I respect that. But my client has a championship to contest. So if you want our participation, I'm afraid the concessions are mandatory. Yes, that's fine. Get back to me when you can. Goodbye. No one ever just signs the contract. Anyway, thanks for coming by on such short notice. I just needed to cover a couple of quick things with you before you race. Firstly, as requested, is a copy of your contract. It's a rolling deal. However, the team reserves right of termination if you fail to meet performance standards. You're second driver for now, but work hard, hit your targets, and I'll be able to sweeten the deal. I'm also looking to get you into some invitational events throughout the season. The experience and exposure from these will be great for your image. Plus, you'll get to drive some nice historic cars. Now then, go get ready for the next session, and good luck.
Welcome to our viewers from around the globe. You join us just as today's practice session for the Australian Grand Prix is about to start. We can see, of course, plenty of activity in the garages as we wait for the green light to get this session underway. Anthony Davidson, thank you for joining me once again. What are you going to be looking out for once the cars get out there on the circuit today?
Well, naturally, in any free practice session, you can never be sure exactly what programs the teams are running, how much fuel they've put in, and so on. So it's important to resist the temptation to draw any firm conclusions from the fastest times on the monitor. What we can do, however, is look for consistent pace over the course of multiple laps. So if someone does half a Grand Prix distance and they're consistently half a second quicker than another driver doing the same, then that's generally a good indicator of a car with a solid race pace.
Some wet weather today. Certainly see some interesting overtakes from the Red Bull driver if that's the case. This season marks the world champion Fernando Alonso's 16th-year race in Formula 1. Ferrari is touted the marked improvement from 2016 and they'll be looking to regain the Constructors' Championship this year, which they last won back in 2008. Valtteri Bottas is one to watch this year after replacing the reigning Drivers' Champion Nico Rosberg. Shout out to Nico, aka
got my message. Perfect. Welcome to home away from home. We get more real-time data from the factory now than ever before, and it all comes through here. So I have to spend more time checking over the reports and less time hunting you down in the hospitality suite. To that end... Sorry, just a sec. Yeah, Chris, is this important? I'm in the middle of something. Oh, okay. Right. Well, that makes no sense. Have Sarah reset the simulation and run it again. Okay. Sorry about that. As I was saying, we've set up a desk for you at the front here. You can get onto the network from your laptop, so make sure to check the R&D screen regularly. And let us know how you want to use the data that we've collected over the weekend and through the practice programs. Also, bear in mind that the news from the factory won't always be good. Sometimes tests fail, like you've seen just now. And when that happens, we have to divert additional resources to fix it. C'est la vie, I'm afraid.
This year we've seen the introduction of the somewhat controversial T-wing and shark fins, which is designed to increase downforce and grip, along with the introduction of wide tires.
As all the cars are now over the line, your top three again are a Ferrari, Hamilton and Felipe Massa. That concludes an interesting practice session. Let's hope for more excitement as the weekend unfolds.
Hey, looks like you've got a bit of rivalry going on out there. This is good. Gets people talking about you. Just make sure you outperform them, okay? Hi, how are you? I'm just passing on your qualifying goals for this weekend.
Welcome to Melbourne, where qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix should be getting underway shortly. This is the kind of track that eats rear tyres for breakfast, or so I'm told by more experienced drivers than myself.
Well, tyre management is key here, specifically the rears. It's all too easy to overheat and wear the rear tyres as they're punished out of the low-speed corners. Most teams won't be able to avoid some kind of issue here, especially the teams that are running less downforce.
Big shout out to Billy Bunga, aka Billy Wiz. Striking Force India liveries quite a change from their usual orange colour scheme. Rookie Lance Stroll managed himself to beat Williams this season after box office switch to Mercedes. This year will mark the Russian Grand Prix 4th year at Sochi. Going into the 2017 season, Lewis Hamilton held 63 pole positions, bested only by Senna at 65 poles and Schumacher at 68. Ferrari have now used the market improvement from 2016 and they'll be looking to regain the Constructors' Championship this year, which is their last look back in 2008. Big shout out to Billy Bunga, aka Billy Wiz. This season marks double world champion Fernando Alonso's 16th year race in Formula 1. Going into the 2017 season, Lewis Hamilton held 63 pole positions, bested only by Senna at 65 poles and Schumacher.
wind down from the excitement of qualifying, here's a look at your top three. A Ferrari, Vettel and Lewis Hamilton. Goodbye for now then, but we're really just getting started. Make sure to join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
Hello. I just wanted to pass on the team's expectations for this race. Good luck.
It's out with the old and in with the new here at Albert Park as we usher in what we hope will be a triumphant new era of Formula One racing. For our drivers, though, it's very much business as usual as they look to be first across that line and get their championship off to a winning start. We go racing today then in the state of Victoria, where the drivers have 16 corners and 3.3 miles to navigate at an average lap speed of around 120 miles an hour. The close proximity of the barriers makes accidents inevitable, and recent history shows us that a safety car is not at all out of the question. Today's race, of course, not simply the start of a new season, but the start of a new kind of Formula One. Anthony Davidson, great to have you with us once again. This is a big moment for the sport. Big changes to the technical regulations. The potential, perhaps, to give us the biggest shake-up since 2014. Very different cars visually and, fingers crossed, much faster as well.
Good thing then that combined these teams put in just a shade over 13,000 kilometres on the clock during testing. The cornering speed of these new machines is absolutely unbelievable. How many lap records are still held by Michael Schumacher from 2004? Well, on the right day, on the right tyres, we might just be threatening them this year. Wider tyres, wider cars, more downforce. I have to say they look great, and the qualifying spectacle is undebatable. Now the big question remains, can they follow? Can they race? Or have these new rules gone too far?
Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. It's Ferrari in pole position then, and starting alongside in P2 is Sebastian Vettel. Looking down the rest of the grid we have Hamilton, Bottas, Daniel Ricciardo and Verstappen, Perez, Massa, Grosjean and Nico Hülkenberg, Ocon, Stroll, Kevin Magnussen and Kvyat, Sainz, Palmer, Fernando Alonso and Stoffel van Dorn, Wehrlein and Marcus Ericsson rounds off the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track. That's a fantastic performance from Ferrari. It hardly looked in doubt. And Anthony Davidson, give me your thoughts. How did they accomplish this result?
Well, I think the track conditions just really suited their car today. Wind, track temperature, you name it. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature. So the more easily you can keep them there, the better your race tends to go. And that's exactly what happened. Their car just looks so comfortable out there.
And as we can see, it's time for the podium. And as the drivers make their way out, there's a familiar red suit making its way to the top step. Fantastic win for Ferrari. So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. There's been a league change at the top of the championship after a superb performance. Moving on to the driver of the day then. Anthony Davidson, who would you go for?
Let's give it to Lance Stroll. That was a quality drive from start to finish. He can be proud of that one.
And now let's take a look at the constructors' standings. Ferrari moved to the top of the table. After all this drama, you'd be mad not to join us for the next race. We hope to see you then. Take care.
Is this the one?
Indeed it is. And this is Jonathan. He's going to let you drive some of his cars.
Well, not quite my cars, per se. It's a mere detail. You know, I'd really rather be down there racing them myself, to be honest. I'm actually quite handy behind the wheel, but it's the downforce, those lateral Gs, you know? The old neck can't really handle it. So I need a pro. That's where you come in. We run in a bunch of events throughout the year. Time trials, races, all sorts. And I have it on good authority that you have the ability and temperament to do well in these. Make our business look good and, most importantly, bring the cars back in one piece. So consider this a formal invitation. I'll see you at the track.
Now, if you'd just like to step into my office, I'd like to go over those contract provisions.